Hey everyone, welcome to the 9th episode of the Wheels to Walking podcast, the podcast with a guy in a wheelchair and a guy not in a wheelchair.
What up? I'm the guy not in a wheelchair.
Definitely a guy in a wheelchair. And good news update this week, I am actually in my wheelchair and not on the reclining chair.
You're not Jabba the Hutt.
I'm not a Jabba wabba wabba. Yeah, man, I've been making some good progress. Over the past couple of days, I've been able to not have anyone have to stay over with me. I've been able to cook on my own all my meals, which is awesome because before I was relying on everyone else. I've been able to downgrade my pain medication and also extend it more hours, which is good.
Nice.
So yeah, there's been a lot of positives. I mean, the swelling is going down. Physical therapy starts as soon as I get my car back because
you can't drive.
I currently don't have my
Your caretaker won't drive you?
Yeah, I don't have one of those. Do you want to be my caretaker?
Yeah.
Can you be my caretaker?
Yeah, I'm a caretaker.
Yeah. Can you take me to go get my haircut Friday?
Yeah,
All
definitely.
right, cool, perfect. Yeah, because I need
Tomorrow's Friday. Oh, what time is it? I have a dentist appointment.
I don't know. I'll have to check.
My dentist
I
appointment's
don't want
at
to check
10.
right now. We're in the middle of the podcast.
We're doing important stuff right now. Yo, have you ever watched William Osmond? We actually met him at a vid summit. He was friends with iDubbbz and Nerd City.
Was he the third guy that I didn't know?
His name's William Osmond. In his videos, he calls his wife or girlfriend, he calls her caretaker. He's like, caretaker. They'll do these egg drop competitions, and one of the bits is they always forget the eggs, and he's like, caretaker, can you bring me the eggs? It's ridiculous.
That sounds so ridiculous,
man.
Also, feel free to start reaching out to me now. A lot of people have been reaching out to Andrew.
Yeah, stop messaging me, bro.
So yeah, you can hit me up now. I'm capable of texting and Instagramming, and those are the only places that I'll probably reply to you. Don't email me because I just look at those. I don't actually reply to them.
Fuck. Can we talk about that for a second? Fuck emails, bro. Yeah. I hate emails. As soon as someone starts emailing me, I'm like, oh, now we're doing corporate bullshit.
Yeah, to me, email has turned into what regular mail is, which is I'm going to just check this once a week and mostly ignore all of it.
I'm going to read it in my notification bar and never click in to the full thing.
And decide if I'm going to delete it then or not because stupid email.
It says the guy who sends out emails every week.
I have no idea what you're talking about. I don't send out an email to thousands.
I don't have an email list of thousands of people.
Nope, I don't. I don't do that at all. Nope.
Yeah, but I think that's why Slack and other chat apps and stuff have become so popular because email has just felt so slow.
Isn't there Discord too?
Yeah, that's they're branded as chat for gamers. AJ uses Discord a lot, but I can see Discord becoming more of a bigger thing. It's kind of like WhatsApp groups totally kind of have become in recent years too.
Well, my dad actually uses an app that's just like Discord. It's the same, software, but it's
for business. It's probably Slack.
Right. Yeah. It is Slack.
Yeah, Slack is you have different channels, which is literally how Discord works. You have one big company-wide chat, but then you can break off into little sub chats and stuff. But yeah, I this actually wasn't even a topic that we were going to talk about, but one of the big stories of last year about this company called Away. They make luggage. One of the things is they had this really toxic Slack policies within their company. It was really weird, how they wouldn't allow anyone to PM each other. Everything had to happen in the public chat. So you couldn't directly just email someone and ask them a question. You had to publicly ask everyone. And it was super toxic because people would just be gaslighting each other all the time and calling people out. It was just really, really messy. But anyways, there's pros and cons to both, obviously. But that could have totally happened in email as well. I'll freaking reply all shit.
Yeah, I remember even when I worked in retail land and corporate land, there was always the one person who would spend 15-20 minutes a day, come in early to read all their emails and be up to date, and would be all about policies. And if you ever did something, they'd be like, didn't you see the email? And it's no,
mom.
They're that's a part of your job. You're supposed to read your emails. And I'm like, do they give me time to step off the floor to read the emails? No. Am I gonna come in early? No. I don't have any interest in reading the emails. I'll hear it from people like you. I'll have management trickle it down. You know, if
that's how I kind of feel with news.
Yeah, it's like if it's important, I'll hear it from someone else.
Yeah, Tim Ferriss talks about that like in 4 Hour Workweek. He's like, don't fucking read the like if it's important enough, you'll figure it out. Like people will tell you.
Yeah, it'll start to get to the point where it steps out of the news cycle and steps into the real life cycle where people will be talking about it in person.
Yeah,
and you'll hear it. I've had to get off Facebook after this whole like Iran stuff because I'm like, oh, there's nothing but a bunch of idiots on here now.
Yeah. Well, dude, actually the interesting thing about like the Iran stuff is like if you hear from like on Reddit, there was like some Irani guy that was like saying like all you Americans are like freaking out, but like all of the Iranians are like stoked. Like most of us are like really excited that this guy's fucking dead. Like it's kind of crazy how like the media has like turned so many things. You know, they want to just turn everything against Trump. And that was another thing, not to keep like pinballing around everywhere, but that's just kind of what we do around here. Another thing that was really interesting is how the Australian bushfires, I don't know if obviously you've heard about it.
I've been paying attention, sort of.
So everyone's like chalking it up to climate change. And like, I'm not a climate change denier. I definitely think that climate change is real. I think that any like efforts to push us towards like a greener like world and you know because most of the main offenders I think are like the upper class and like companies, right? Like dumping oil and like having major pollution and like people riding around on private jets. Like those are the people that are like the main offenders. So I think that anything we can do to regulate that, like sure, but the really fucked up thing about Australia is like everyone's chalking it up to climate change. They're like, oh, it's like the hottest season ever and like, oh, you know, climate change, the whole thing is on fire. But really, the main reason, like all these Australian farmers are saying that all their land is on fire is because the Australian government has put regulations on preventative burning,
uncontrolled burns
over the past couple of years. And the other thing is they've arrested like 100 people in relation to these bushfires. So it's like all and like 65 of them were kids. So it's like all these kids are out of school for Christmas break. They're all goofing off, starting fires and getting into trouble. It's also the summer in Australia right now. It like all, you know, it's like the same. It makes sense, but everyone is like, oh, climate change. It's like, yes, climate change. Sure. Yes. Let's like talk about that. But that has nothing to do with what's going on in Australia right now.
Yeah, it had to do with the government regulations about controlled burns. It had to do with the government cutting like almost 95% of firefighting budget.
Yeah.
So that like rural firefighters. And then a lot of people forget that fires are a natural part of the cycle of
forest maintenance,
of forest maintenance and ecosystems.
Because the underbrush gets really flammable.
And then like there's a lot of plants that can't germinate without fire. It's a very interesting thing because it's like
first time for that.
Yeah, so like fires are not unnatural, and especially in Australia, not unnatural. Same thing with the fires in the rainforest. There's like a lot of places where fires are not unnatural, but it becomes this super sensationalized thing, and it's like it really boils down to wealth, greed, incompetence, and government regulation, where this is not, I mean, Australia has been Australia forever. And when they had the ability to control burns and when they had the ability to have...
Because farmers understand that.
To have these firefighters available. Like, I grew up in Kansas, man. They do controlled burns on cornfields and wheat fields all the time.
Because if you create a wall of all burned stuff, basically it's like a fire stop, right? Like the fire won't move past the part that's already gotten burned. So if you can strategically create these areas that have already been burned off, the fires will be contained.
Yeah, because they can't go out or into
an area that's already been burned up.
To the area that's been burned. Yeah, exactly.
It needs something to burn. So yeah, like in Australia, they call them greenies. Like they call a lot of the environmental activists and stuff like that. They call them greenies. They're like, these fucking greenies. They're the reason why this whole island's on fire right now because they've been preventing us from putting fire stops and preventative burning. Like there's like a video of like this farmer guy that's in Australia, and he's like, is this what you fucking wanted, you fucking greenies? You won't let us burn our land, but now my fucking land's gonna be all destroyed because of you.
I mean, animals, houses, property, people, like it's a big thing. And what's interesting about Australia is the Liberal Party is actually the Conservative Party. It's the opposite that it is in the U.S.
Well, it used to be like that in the U.S. too. Like the liberal, I'm pretty sure like the liberals were the ones that had slaves back in the day. I could be totally wrong about that, but I know it flip-flopped.
I have no idea. That doesn't sound right, but I have no idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's definitely interesting to see like how the news sensationalizes things, and it's like even kind of going back to the thing about like the Iranians, it's like it's very weird because it's like, okay, Iran attacks U.S. embassy, U.S. attacks, Iran kills this guy, then Iran bombs itself, and it's like, wait, what? Like, what? Like, what? I'm confused because it's just very weird, and it's complicated, and I'm not a political person, so I can't speak on anything because I don't know. But the bottom line is what we're saying is like news, especially U.S. news, especially American news, can be highly sensationalized, and it's super complex, and it's all about pointing fingers and blaming things, and like, how much they can keep the news cycle going and all the ads. And you know what? Let's just segue into the topic that where to talk about. It's like, how is it that on YouTube bombings can get monetized, but videos like our videos, like the last video that I put out, Richard's in the hospital, got flagged for being like too gory or something like that because in the
we don't really know. We just said it was against community standards.
Yeah, against community standards. And then the most recent update video, which we were going to put out Wednesday, it's now Thursday. You'll be hearing this Friday, so hopefully it's out by Friday. I was ready to post, and then I got like a notification, like a yellow flag that was like, hey, it's not up to community standards. And I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Well, the thing that was fucked up is the last video that we put out, which was the Richard's in the hospital video where we asked everyone for the messages and stuff. That video became remonetized later, right? It got green.
Like the next day and a half. Because a lot of the times it's just a robot. It's an algorithm that picks up on what they detect as not community friendly. So I think if they saw flesh tones and they saw blood tones and they saw a bunch of skin tones, and I
think it's smarter than just seeing skin tones, but yeah.
Well, whatever. But it used whatever algorithmic thing it did.
I mean, you were in the hospital and there was blood on your face, like, and the thumbnail was literally like you with like a scar on your head, like with blood.
Mm-hmm.
Like it kind of, I mean, the face that's in the thumbnail kind of looks like a fucked up like guy that was in like a prisoner of war camp or something, like it's not that hard to be like, oh, this might be kind of edgy. Like it's not that hard to figure that out.
Yeah, but as soon as I appealed it, it
went green, which means that we can make money.
Yeah, so I'm still waiting for the appeal to come through. I just checked it right now for those of you that are on video and wondering why I'm looking at my phone.
Our most recent video, it's the recovery vlog video. It's finished. It should be out, but as of recording this, it's not out because it's still, according to YouTube, it's not advertiser friendly. So we're trying to appeal it and see if we can get it to, because it's like, dude, what's the fucking point of putting out these videos like if they aren't making us money? I mean, obviously, granted, we're making a huge impact on the world and the community, and everyone, wants these videos, but
we have to get paid.
We need to make money.
Like, it's not free to make videos. Too many people think it's free to make videos. Like, they'll be like, dude, why you got so many ads on these videos? And it's like, go away. Like, you would not have these videos if they did not have ads.
There's like 9 things that cost money. It's like, we've got camera expenses. You have a shooter, like I go out and shoot the videos. Then I go home and edit the videos. What is required to edit a video? You need a computer that's good enough to process all this shit. You need an internet connection, like to upload it, which is going to cost you money. You need to have, but everyone has that. You need an editing software that also costs money. You need
all the accessories. You need the mics, you need the lighting, you need the tripods, you need the lenses, you need the batteries. I think about, even from like my perspective, like I need to pay for travel and hotels and food and flights. And
at the end of the day, time is money. It's like we're not working like a normal job. Like this is time where we could be spending doing other things too. It's like, if we're spending all this time to make videos that don't ultimately make money, we got to figure out how to make videos that do make us money.
Yeah, so like if a brand or a company or a corporation came up to us and was like, "Hey, can you make a video for us?" It would be anywhere between $5,000 and $7,500 for them to have like a dedicated upload, depending on a lot of factors, right? And that is a calculation that is found on something called Social Blue Book. Social Blue Book is basically a calculating system that kind of tells you the value of your social media and your following and your engagement and your views and your comments and all that stuff. But we haven't, for the past year, had a single sponsored video. Like, we've been relying strictly on AdSense, and I've been paying out of pocket for all of this because we're treating it, like a startup, because we know this is a valuable thing that needs to reach a lot of people. And it gets annoying when people complain about something as little as ads. It's like, go away. Do you want these videos? Cool. You got to do, it's like, it's just bothersome because it's like the value and that calculation didn't really even calculate in a lot of like production costs or like travel costs, or that's just how much the video is worth.
In advertising money, basically.
Yeah, within advertising.
With eyeballs and all that.
Yeah, with the context of eyeballs. But
yeah, it's an interesting dilemma. And actually, I wanted to talk about this. Like, there's this weird thing happening on YouTube right now where YouTube, basically, they want everything to be advertiser-friendly, which makes sense because the way that YouTube makes money is ads, right? So advertisers pay YouTube to display ads on top of videos. So when you're on YouTube and you're watching, you have to watch ads and all that, and that's how you make money. But YouTube won't display ads on certain videos for specific reasons. So, for example, if you're, an ISIS, this video just got demonetized. If you're an ISIS person and you're uploading beheading, if you're uploading beheading videos and you don't want, and you're trying to get monetized. Like, if you're McDonald's, you don't want your ads being displayed over a beheading video. That doesn't seem very appetizing. That a beheading video doesn't lend me to eating a Big Mac.
Yeah, or if you're Coca-Cola, you don't want to be advertised on a video that's overtly sexual.
Yeah.
Or something that's meant to.
But the problem is there's this blurred line of, okay, yeah, we can give these like blatant examples of, a beheading video or something like that. But then we've also got this new COPPA stuff, which is basically all having to do with children's content and children being advertised towards. So every time we have an upload now, we have to say, yes, this video is intended for kids, or no, this video is not intended for kids. And we always put that this video is not intended for kids because it's not. And
that regulation was an agreement that YouTube made with the Federal Trade Commission because they got fined $170 million for violaling the child advertising
laws or something.
Child advertising laws.
And basically those child advertising laws are in place so that TV commercials and stuff, they can't just make 5 minutes of content and then all the rest is just ads for kids or, things like that. It makes sense. But at the end of the day, it's okay, so now we can't advertise to kids and we also can't have anything edgy have any advertisements on it because basically YouTube demonetizes anything with swearing or adult themes or anything with homosexual stuff. Anything LGBTQ is totally off limits for advertising, which is hilarious because Google is always talking about how LGBTQ and pride friendly they are and everything.
Which is a big lie. They're not.
They
at
say
all.
one thing and then they're totally another when it comes to actual monetization. And
well, let me put it this way. If you're an LGBTQ creator who does not talk about anything LGBTQ, like James Charles, for example, if you're James Charles and you talk about makeup only, you're safe. But if you're an LGBTQ creator and you talk about difficulties and challenges and struggles and issues with inside of your specific community, good luck getting paid.
Yeah, exactly.
Good luck.
And there's actually some creators that have created their own like code language so that YouTube can't pick up on it. Like every time, like in their description, it's like, here's my key of my word. So gay is actually this, and you know, penis is actually this, or like there's all these other words that they use as code words so that they can still talk about these issues, but they also still get paid. It's like hilarious that they have to go to these lengths.
My happy friend said to my lizard friend.
Yeah,
it's
like they literally just have a coded language so that they can get away with, so that they can actually get paid. And it's hilarious because YouTube acts like they're so friendly towards this stuff, but they're not. And actually, I mentioned them earlier, but Nerd City, they just released a video on yesterday on Lele Pons and how she is basically taking advantage of all of this stuff. And it's really messed up because she's straddling the line between making kids content and making sexual adult content. And I have no problem with those things separately. But when you're taking advantage of the system and you're basically like YouTube's golden child and they promote everything that you do, but it seems like they don't even watch anything you're doing.
Yeah, they keep you on the trending page for upwards of 5 to 7 days at a time. You get to do a collaboration with Susan Wojcicki, who's like the CEO of YouTube. You know, she gets to be on, you know, like late night shows and touted as, you know, like the most popular, the most known, the most clean, blah, blah, blah creator ever. But if you look at her stuff, it's like skits about stuff in elementary school, but her like butt and boobs are hanging out and there's like cussing too. It's just weird. It's like, what is happening?
It's very
right now?
odd. And the most messed up thing in my opinion is that she's on Google Preferred, which is basically, if you're on Google Preferred, I think this is how she's getting away with it. So YouTube, they have this like selection of primetime characters that they keep in Google Preferred. So at one point, Logan Paul was in Google Preferred. All the late night show people are in Google Preferred. Rhett and Link are in Google Preferred. So it's basically what YouTube idolizes as like, these are our ideal creators. They're the most brand friendly. They're the most, you know, marketable. And so they put them on this pedestal and they can basically break all the rules, but still get ads because they're in this special bubble of Google Preferred. And actually that's how, for example, Philip DeFranco, his video about some like school shooting got like 100% demonetized. But then meanwhile, Jimmy Kimmel has Ford Explorer ads running on his video about the school shooting. So it's just a total, you know, it's just so hypocritical of them. It's a total disconnect because, oh, these creators are allowed to break the rules, but everyone else can't because we've deemed them okay. We trust them enough to make the edgy content. For example, Liza Koshy had a video on YouTube Premium, Liza On Demand, and they're in the thumbnail, she's literally naked covering up her boobs. And the title of the video was Liza Gets Naked or Liza Is Naked or something like that. And it was like the pilot of her second season. Millions of views. It was on trending. It was literally produced by YouTube, and they're breaking their own rules about like clickbait and sexualization. Like, it's so fucked up.
Yeah, the one thing that bothers me the most, and I don't think it's necessarily the fine line between, you know, butts, boobs, and kids. You know, like that's been a thing for forever. You know, we look at like MTV and VH1, and you know, we look at, you know, kind of like that demographic, and you know, it's like, are we SpongeBob or are we the real world? I don't know. Who cares? But my thought is more like they have ads that are very strategically placed. It's like, what to do when you've been bullied. Get a new makeup kit from CoverGirl.
It's literally just an ad for
and it's like, we'll teach you how to put on your makeup, and that's the best way to not get bullied anymore. And it's like, so you're teaching kids that they need to buy something and make themselves pretty in order to not get bullied anymore. Yeah, well, that's a great message.
Yeah, the most, if you're interested in this stuff at all, definitely go watch the Nerd City video about Lele Pons. It's like his most recent video, because It's
And while you're at
really
it-
interesting.
I was gonna say, and while you're at it, also watch the one on Jake Paul too. That is also a great expose on marketing to children. As well.
And it's the same thing over and over again. It's like you're saying publicly that your content is made for kids aged like 8 to 16, but that's a huge spread. Like the content that I would show an 8-year-old is not the same content that I would be comfortable showing a 16-year-old. Like that is just not the case. And the thing is I wonder what she clicks when she uploads. Does she click, no, this is not made for kids, or is this, yes, this is made for kids? And the other thing is she's definitely not the one clicking upload anyways. She's got a team behind her that's
Definitely. Shot Studios.
Yeah, Shot Studios that's literally for kids. So it's like they're the ones that are probably pushing her to make all this like kids content. But at the same time, she got really famous when she was still in high school. So I think she's kind of still stuck in that bubble. You know what I mean? Like
She's the 16-year-old mentality.
she's still got that 16-year-old mentality, and she's also always trying to like chalk everything up to her being Latina. Like she always is trying to remind you that she's Latina.
And also her numbers, and also that she used to be ugly, and
Yeah.
you know, it's like, I don't know, man. There's just so much.
There's so much.
We could go on this forever
The
about
thing
Lele,
is
but
there's no one that's actually in the age demographic that should be watching it that's watching it. Like there's so much evidence that her entire audience is comprised of children.
look at her meetups. If you look at the video responses that she's getting, if you look at the hashtags on Instagram of all the girls like uploading,
And if you
stuff
just
like that.
if you just are a person who's older and you watch the stuff, like you could show this to like a 12-year-old and they're like, this is so fucking lame. Like, you know, like
yeah, I could show it to my niece, and she's probably 14 or 15.
And the other thing is she totally
15.
rips stuff off. Like she'll go find like old videos of like old
like Charlie Chaplin or
Charlie
something.
Chaplin or like Spanish shows, like shows that are in Spanish that are like the old kind of like slapstick little skits and stuff, like in a classroom, and she literally copies them scene by scene and reaction by reaction.
Physical comedy.
Yeah, it's just so fucking cringe.
She's lazy, man. But it's messed. It's just so weird. It's like the evidence will suggest that she's a hard worker who plays by the rules. And what I mean by evidence is that she's on Google Preferred. She gets millions and millions and millions of views. She gets millions and millions and millions of subscribers. She gets all these huge brand deals, all these collaborations. But if you actually take time to stop and look, you're like, this is the most unfunny thing I've ever seen in my life. And
It's really sad.
And she is violating so many rules of kid advertisement and FTC. And it's just like, it's predatory. It's really predatory.
In the Nerd City video, he literally breaks down all of YouTube's policies about children's content. It says anything, there's like 10 bullet points, and it's like if any of these are contained in the video, it might not be eligible. It won't be advertiser friendly or whatever. And she literally, he breaks it down. She breaks every single one of the rules.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like so blatantly obvious that YouTube is not paying any fucking attention and is only listening to what her agents and stuff are saying. Because it's like, there's who at YouTube is watching Lele Pons videos? No one. They're just trusting that, oh, she's been on this. Oh, she got featured in this. Oh, there's an article about her on this. Oh, she's so inspirational. Oh, she wrote a book. Oh, like she's got all the right like check boxes checked. So they just like don't check her actual content that's full of cussing, that's full of sexuality, that's full, and like I have no problem with any of that shit. Like, obviously, like I watch a lot of sexual content. I watch a lot of profanity. We're cussing right now. Like I don't care. But the thing is you can't talk outside of both sides of your mouth, YouTube. Like you need to monetize people that are doing the same fucking thing that she's doing, or like don't monetize her shit at all and like crack down on her mixing child content. It's like the same thing with that breastfeeding mom that like sells nudes, and like the way that she gets away with like showing her boobs on YouTube is because she's like breastfeeding but also like sexualizing herself.
How about the ladies that do make cleaning videos? You know about these cleaning videos?
Yep.
They're like, this is how you vacuum your living room. First, you're gonna want to pick up all the toys, and then it's them in booty shorts bent over just picking up all the toys.
Like a nice long like down blouse shot where you're basically showing
or they're
chest.
showing their butt off, and you're like, what the heck is going on here?
And all the comments are timestamps.
Yeah, timestamps, and there's comments from kids or like creepy adults, and then it's like you go on their Patreon, and it's an 18+ Patreon, it's like, oh, you're just using YouTube as a marketing tool to get people onto your 18 plus Patreon, and holy crap, you're making $14,000 a month from Patreon. What? And then there's still ads on those videos, and you're like, you've got to be joking me right now.
The thing is I can't. The thing is I don't really care that there's ads on those videos. Like, I can't knock their hustle. But if you're marketing it towards kids, then yeah, that's kind of messed up. But like especially the toy picking up videos, kind of like, yeah, who's watching that? But at the end of the day, like, that's kind of a weird loophole that I'm like, okay, fine, whatever. If that's what you want to do, like, I have no problem with like sex work. I have no problem with people like selling nudes. I have no problem with any of that. The problem comes when you're mixing it with kids stuff. Like, that's just not cool.
Yeah, and I think it's
and
one of
your
these,
audience is primarily kids.
it's one
For
of these
sure.
things where, like, Lele, it's like, hey, Lele, are you Lele Pons or are you Bella Thorne? Pick. You can't be a Disney star and a slut at the same time.
Well, Bella Thorne was a Disney star.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, you can transition. Like, you can go from Disney to whatever Bella Thorne is up to right now.
She literally directed a porno.
Yeah, to whatever she's up to now.
On Pornhub.
That's fine. Make that transition, but you can't be both at the same time.
Exactly.
And hey, YouTube, you can't let her be both at the same time. I think it's interesting how after this FTC COPPA major fine, because all it took was one ambitious regulator to spend a couple of years collecting evidence to just slam dunk. Like, there was no appeal. YouTube was like...
He said it was like shooting fish in a barrel.
Yeah, YouTube was like, okay, you got us. Here you go. Here's your $170 million. I am interested in that same type of regulator pinning individual creators.
Well, they said they were going to do it.
Like, going in and being like, hey, Jake Paul, you owe us $200 million. Hey, Lele Pons.
It's $40,000 per infraction. So each video that infracts, I don't know if that's the right word, infringes on the rules, you can literally be fined up to $40,000 per video.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, Lele, here we go. Okay, Liza, here we go. Like, and
Liza's a little more chill, I think, with that stuff.
Liza's
she doesn't curse online.
Liza's way more chill. But I'm just saying, like, it just takes one ambitious regulator to just jump in there and be like, okay, pew, 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 pew. Like,
yeah, well, here's the thing. Here's my not final, but here is my pitch for YouTube Premium. Here's the deal. YouTube Premium, they list all these like great features of YouTube Premium. So for people that don't know, YouTube Premium, it's $12 a month. You don't get ads. That's like the main thing.
the main pitch.
You also get YouTube Music, which is like whatever.
You also get to shut your phone. You get to lock your phone and the video still
Which is
plays.
hilarious that that's a feature. You can lock your phone and the video still plays. You can lock your phone and the audio still plays. You can also download videos to be viewed later, which is actually really nice. I use that a lot, especially when I know for sure I want to watch a video and it's like full quality and I want to watch it like uninterrupted with like no buffering. Like let's say Peter McKinnon puts out like a really cool video that I know is going to be epic and cinematic. I'll download it so that I know I can watch it at any point and like not be like, the fucking Wi-Fi is out or like, just some bullshit. And then it's also great for planes. It's great for times like the other day when we were in the freaking doctor's office and there was no service. I was watching some videos that I had downloaded, like some of my favorites, like some ones that I know I can repeat watch. So anyways, those are great features. Here is the killer feature that no one is talking about. You can make money as a creator from YouTube Premium revenue even when your video has limited ads.
It's true.
So like
It'll say limited ads, and then in the bottom of the parentheses, it's like except YouTube Premium.
Except for YouTube Premium. So if you are a person who likes watching edgy content and your creators that you watch all the time are constantly complaining about getting demonetized, the biggest thing you can do to help them is to sign up for YouTube Premium, because they can still get paid on videos that aren't monetized, because then the money is not coming from advertising revenue. It's coming from the actual users. Now, granted, YouTube doesn't really release how much money they're paying out of that $12 to creators. Who knows if it's half? Who knows if it's 75%? No one knows. They haven't released any numbers on that, and it's very, very vague. But the bottom line is
something.
It's something. And you also get all these extra perks. Like, I don't give a fuck about the extra YouTube premium like shows that they make.
Those
Like
are-
I
they're-
actually don't watch
They're
those.
so overproduced. I kind of don't care. Like,
Yeah, it's like I'll go to Netflix.
like I was watching. So I normally am a big fan of like the Vsauce videos and specifically Vsauce 3. Like I love Jake's videos, and he without YouTube originals has like these really great series. And then I saw he had one on a YouTube original. I was like, oh, I can't wait to check this out. I watched a few minutes and I was like, too overproduced. It's too overproduced. It feels like they're on a set. It feels like they've got like a goofy script. It feels like there's like the wrong kind of cameras that are just way
because
too
you're just adding
precision
too
or
many
whatever.
cooks to the kitchen, dude. Like
Yeah.
Jake making a video by himself, it's him and his creative vision. And then as soon as you add all these cooks to the kitchen, you're adding in all these other voices and other things that you really wouldn't want.
Too many cooks.
Too many cooks.
Goodness.
But yeah, like that's the bottom line. It's like, dude, the killer feature of YouTube Premium is that your favorite creators are still supported. And like, granted, you can go and support everyone's Patreon. Like we have a Patreon. Like you can go support us there. Like please do. But at the end of the day, I can't, I have like 30 people that I watch on YouTube like pretty regularly. What am I going to do? Like go subscribe to all 30 of them on Patreon and like
No.
blah, blah, blah. No, like I'm just not going to do that. The thing is YouTube, it's a beautiful thing because at the end of the day, you can still make money on YouTube as a nobody. You can start from nothing and make something, and you can make millions. You can make a lot of money. But YouTube's making it really fucking hard because you have to stay in this small little sliver of a lane where you can't make stuff that's made specifically for kids, but you can't swear and you can't talk about edgy stuff and you can't. It's like this fucking sterile zone that
I would call it PG-13.
it's barely. It's like PG, dude. Because like PG-13, you can still say shit and stuff, right?
Yeah, I
and you
think-
can still
I-
like show boobs like once.
No,
you know, like
I think R-rated you can show boobs. I think in
you get one F-bomb in
in
PG-13.
PG-13 you can say the F word once. I think you can also make like sexual innuendos.
Maybe. I still think though, like there's a lot of creators that I would say probably are PG-13 and they're still getting demonetized. Like I think really it's like that PG, like the ultimate.
How about
example.
we call it PG? We'll call it PG-10.
Yeah, whatever.
We'll call it PG-11.
The thing is the content that is late night shows because they're not even really acting anything out. They're just like talking to camera, but they can't swear, but they can still kind of make some innuendos and they can make some edgy jokes, but it's like it's without breaking any of the rules of NBC and stuff. So YouTube is like, cool, if it's good enough for television, it's good enough for us. Hit them on the trending page, boys. Like they literally just promote the fuck out of all of those late night shows.
Late night shows have
And it's cancer.
taken over, just completely taken over.
They're glorified
the-
YouTubers
the-
at this
the
point.
trending page, and it's like, I came here to watch YouTube, not to watch these late night people. I don't care about these late night people because if I cared about these late night people, I'd watch these late night people. Get them off my friggin' platform.
Yeah,
Like,
they're the worst. Like honestly, I don't mind Seth Meyers. I think he's funny. I've liked Seth Meyers from the SNL days. I don't mind Jimmy Fallon, even though he laughs way too much, and I still think he's like funny. I hate Jimmy Kimmel and I hate James Corden. They're both so fucking annoying, and they both have terrible takes. Like it's just like Jimmy Kimmel's takes on stuff. It's just like so bad and so cringe, and like I just can't deal. It's just awful.
today's podcast is brought to you in part by YouTube Red,
Yeah, I know, right?
but also fuck you YouTube.
Yeah, but the thing is YouTube.
I call it YouTube Red. YouTube Premium.
Yeah, and it used to be called YouTube Red. Like the thing is I think
And no one knew what it was.
I pay for YouTube Premium because I don't like to watch ads and I like to support the creators, and I can still feel good about doing that. Like I know that even when my favorite creators are like always complaining about getting demonetized, like I'm still supporting them by watching their videos, and I don't have to watch the ads. Like I don't want to watch the ads. Like I don't mind paying a little bit. Granted, I don't like pay for a lot of other subscription services. Like I don't have Netflix. Well, I do because anyways, like I have my parents login. Like who doesn't have their freaking parents login?
Right.
But you know what I mean? Like I watch mostly YouTube. And if you're a person that watches primarily YouTube and you don't have YouTube Premium, like I really That's the killer feature for me, is that you can still support your peeps without having to like actually pay them, which is fine. Like I don't mind the actual payment method. Like I like Patreon, I like stuff like that, but like, come on, like
it's
it really is the new
all
wave, and
when
like
it's an all-in-one thing.
yeah, it's all in one. It's like you don't have to worry about it, and yeah, I just wish YouTube would promote it that way, because they never talk about that. They literally on the page for YouTube Premium, it's not a feature, but that is the #1 feature.
I think what the move is, and we've known this from the beginning, and I think a lot of people are catching on, is you almost have to assume that YouTube ads are not going to pay you. You almost have to assume that you're not going to get monetized. I mean, pre-Adpocalypse 1, honestly, it was you could totally rely on that. Like David Dobrik was talking about how he was making $250,000 a month just from AdSense, and then Adpocalypse happened and it got real strict, and then now he's making like $200 a month. And then literally 200. He had to branch out and create his own merch line, and then start working with places like SeatGeek, and he has to work with Chipotle, and he has to find ways to
integrate brands
and do alternative income streams, and you really have to just diversify yourself. And I think it's just like YouTube is almost turning into Instagram, in the sense where it's like on Instagram, you know, you do or say something that they don't like, they'll shadow ban you, or you do or something they say you don't like, they'll delete your posts. And it's like Instagram has never paid anybody, and I doubt they're ever gonna pay anybody.
No, hell no.
They'll be like, nah, fuck you. You pay us.
Facebook.
You pay us.
They're like, we're the fire hydrant. You're lucky to even be on our platform for free.
Yeah, exactly. And then you have to find ways to use Instagram as a funnel to your other income streams. And I think YouTube is turning into that right now, where, I mean, there's so many problems that it's like YouTube is just shooting themselves in the foot over and over and over and over again, where they're trying to appeal to the advertisers, which they do well, but they piss off their creators.
The thing is, too, is I don't ever see YouTube going away. I could see YouTube going away for quote unquote YouTubers, like creators that are like specifically making videos for an audience on the entertainment side.
I think a lot of the mainstream people are just moving their content over. That's all they're doing.
To YouTube?
Yeah.
Yeah, but
they're just taking their TV stuff and putting it on YouTube.
But what I'm saying is I don't ever see a place other than YouTube to put like a how-to video. Like YouTube is also like the thing is so much of YouTube's traffic has nothing to do with like quote unquote YouTubers.
That is 100% true. It's a
they're the
search
second
engine.
most searched. They're the second biggest search engine in the world, second to Google, and they're owned by Google. So like they basically own search. So the thing is YouTube's never going to go away as far as that. Like the utility of YouTube is amazing. Like I can search how to do something and I can probably find a video of someone doing that. Like the usability of YouTube in that sense is insane.
I mean, I've optimized all the Wheels to Walking videos for search.
100%.
I mean, they rank in search, so you can type in like wheelchair, insert the blank, or how to blank, blank, blank in a wheelchair. And it's like, my videos will be first.
They rank, yeah.
So
and I've actually been, the past couple weeks, I've been going back through my back catalog and optimizing my old podcasts, because when I first started my podcast, it was audio only. It wasn't on YouTube at all. And then when I switched over to Libsyn, there was an option to basically like mass upload all of my clips as a video, but just with like a static image. So it's basically, once you click into the video, you're like, oh, it's not a video, but like it's still searchable and it still helps with like SEO things. So I've been going back and like adding tags, because none of my videos even had tags, because it was just a bulk upload. It had a title and description, and the description was formatted awfully, and there was no tags. And also my thumbnails weren't optimized either, because they were all square.
Yeah.
So all the thumbnails have like black bars on the side. It's like terrible. So I've been going back into my back catalog, because I'm realizing that there are some of these people that I had on my podcast that are still like quote unquote relevant, and people are still searching for them.
Yeah.
And even like with your video, like I went back and changed the title of our first podcast. I changed it to like Richard Corbett's first podcast ever or something, because that's something that someone might actually search, versus like progress, not perfection. Richard
Episode
Corbett,
47.
episode 47. Like, no one's searching episode 47. No one's like, they might search, though, what was the first episode that Richard Corbett was ever on or something like that. And then that will come up. So, like, it's really cool to be able to, like, that was, like, one of the biggest reasons why I started my podcast in the first place was I kind of wanted to, like, feature and showcase and create an archive for all these cool people that I knew and stuff like that. But it's cool to be able to have name recognition where people are searching for this person and then they're like, oh, what's the Andrew Deitch podcast? Oh, and then they might go back and check out my show or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So that, yeah, it's just really powerful. But the thing I was going to say is, have you heard about this company called Quibi?
No.
So it stands for Quick Bites. Quibi. It's the lamest name. But it has, like, literally, they are papered up, dude. They've got so much money. They've literally got, like, billions in like, investment.
Like seed money.
Yeah, and seed money and stuff. And it was founded by some, like, filmmaker, I think, or he's, like, somehow big involved. But the idea behind Quibi is it's a subscription service for vertical video, and it is apparently serialized in 10-minute chunks. So, like, for example, Steven Spielberg apparently is, like, somehow a part of it. So let's say Steven Spielberg, like, makes a movie or makes a show. It will be made for vertical, which is crazy, and it will be separated in 10-minute chunks that come out weekly.
The whole movie.
Or whatever. I don't fully understand it, but it's like they'll never put up like an hour-long chunk of content. It'll be like a 10-minute chunk of content that's serialized like a TV show, but it's like these quick bites. So you can, like, it's almost like the YouTubeization of Hollywood or whatever, like the like filmmaking. And
it's basically like turning filmmaking into TikToks.
But it's, yeah, exactly. But it's fucking hilarious to me because I don't see it working at all. Like, maybe there'll be some evolution of it, but, like, yeah.
The thing with the problem I have with vertical video is it's only meant for
Phones. Yeah.
And what I learned in film class is it's more appealing to the eye. So, like, let's take the Joker, for example. It was shot on 70 millimeter film. So that, no, not film, but digital. But the wider the images, the more appealing it is to the eye. So that's why IMAX like film that you
is like huge.
It is so huge, but it's so like
it's expansive. It, like, goes past your peripheries.
Well, let's take this for example. Your eyes are oriented in a horizontal shape, like, duh. Like, when you actually look at your field of vision, it's super wide. But then we have
Richard.
eyebrows.
Exactly.
We literally have eyebrows that are covering the tops, and then we have, like, cheeks that are covering, like, it's obvious that our field of vision is horizontal.
And we've panned horizons.
That's why you pay more money to go to the IMAX screening.
Yeah, it's literally like a no-brainer.
Way more appealing.
Yeah, you don't go to the movies to watch a thing in vertical. Like, that would be so dumb if you walked into a movie theater and it was like a tall, like a body length mirror shape. You're like, what the fuck is this? Like, it doesn't make sense. You're totally right.
But
It won't work.
I think it's one of these things that's like form over function. Like, they're making content for how we hold our phones.
Like, when you're laying in bed at night, it's a lot easier to hold your phone vertical than it is to, like, prop it up and, like, hold it horizontal. Like, they're realizing that everyone is consuming media on their phones.
You can even be on the YouTube app, and I know I know people that will watch videos in
Julia.
Yeah, exactly. In vertical the whole time, and I'm like,
why?
Turn it sideways? Like, what are you doing?
But the thing is it's all relative, like, right? Like, so what is an 85-inch TV on your wall versus the phone in your hand? Like, granted, it's nicer to be able to, like, sit back and relax and, like, watch a show on a giant screen, but
based on your field of vision,
yeah,
if you're holding a phone
Let's
close.
talk about who has the most time to consume media. Kids. We've been talking about it this whole time. Kids have infinite fucking time because they have no responsibilities and they're easily entertained. Now,
8 to 16-year-olds, basically.
Yeah,
before
they've
get
got
a job.
so much time. That's why media nowadays is being dominated by kids' content, and it has been for a long time. Now, what do kids have access to? Do they have access to be like, Mom, can I watch this on the 85-inch TV? No. They have an iPad or a phone. They have their mom's old iPhone that she gave her because she upgraded. Here, son, you can have this. You can have this old iPhone. Now, how are they going to hold that iPhone? They're going to hold it vertically because they can hold it in one hand. So if you show them content in vertical, they're not going to be like, why is this in my screen? Like, they don't give a fuck. And those kids in 10, 15 years are going to be the kids that are no longer kids. So it's like these companies are trying to future-proof themselves in a way which makes sense because also the way that we're consuming media is changing so rapidly. Like, people aren't as frequently going to the movies. People aren't as frequently sitting down to like watch a long-form piece of content. Granted, there are anomalies. Binge watching Netflix is totally a thing. But if you don't have access to like an actual TV, like what are you going to watch it on? You're going to watch it on your phone. And if they're creating content for phones, like fine, sure, like vertical. I don't, fine. Like it makes sense in that way because if you're holding it that close to your face, like it doesn't like affect it that much. But the thing that I have a problem with is I just don't think it's going to work. Like it just seems so silly. And like Quibi, I think they're going at it the wrong way because the content that people are watching in vertical is the underproduced stuff. It's the stuff that doesn't feel like it was made with an $100 million budget. Like people don't care, it's just, yeah, it's ridiculous. But
yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I mean, we could probably chat about this.
Yeah. Let's talk about the Golden Globes because that's Hollywood. So,
yeah, that's some Hollywood stuff right there. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was actually pretty funny. So most of you guys have probably seen Ricky Gervais. He was the host of the Golden Globes. He's done it 5 times now. And he had the monologue like went so viral because the thing is
just shit on everybody, which is beautiful.
It's beautiful because the thing is
dark humor.
He said to himself, am I going to cater to these 200 people in this room or am I going to cater to the millions and millions of people that are going to be watching this? I'm going to cater to the millions and millions of people that are going to be watching this. And some of the things that he said, it was so... Have you seen the monologue, Richard?
Yeah, I saw the monologue mainly because I saw a lot of people talking about it. And then I saw I was on Imager and I saw one little screen grab with subtitles at the bottom of it.
Yeah.
And it was basically talking about how if you stand up here and accept your award and try to use it as a way for activism, you've already lost because all of these companies that are promoting you have children working in sweatshops, so don't you dare come up here and try to use this as a voice.
He said he goes, this was my favorite part. So the camera turns to Tim. I literally was about to call him Tim Apple because that's what Trump called him. They called him Tim Apple. Tim Cook. And the camera pans to Tim Cook, and he's just sitting there oh shit, I'm in danger.
Yeah.
And he goes, Apple roared into the TV game with the morning show, a superb drama about the importance of dignity and doing the right thing, made by a company that runs sweatshops in China. Well, you say you're woke, but the companies you work for in China, unbelievable. Apple, Amazon, Disney. If ISIS started a streaming service, you'd call your agent, wouldn't you? And it's so freaking funny because literally it's just so true because it's the same thing with the Australia shit. It's guys, we need to be better. Meanwhile, the people that are all saying that are the problem because they're stopping people from doing these preventative burns and shit. It's the people that are mourning this loss of Australia are also the same people that were well, we shouldn't burn the forest even if we're why would we burn the forest on purpose? No, don't do that. It's listen, dimwit, we're not doing it because we fucking hate trees.
Or hate animals. We're literally trying to prevent a massacre.
We're trying to prevent this shit, you dumb fuckers. And it's oh, Leonardo DiCaprio, oh, he's so brave and so amazing for talking about green activism. Meanwhile, he's flying everywhere on his fucking private jet. It's dude, stop talking out of both sides of your mouth. You can't fucking have your cake and eat it too. So yeah, there's a couple other amazing jokes. One of the other best moment was when Tom Hanks made that face.
Yeah, it was one. It was.
He's like,
I was like, they got us.
well, I was more of like a, is someone gonna shut this off? How is he saying these things? Like he was so offended.
Well, what I love is that last year Kevin Hart got fired from.
Well, that was the Oscars.
Whatever tweets.
He actually turned it down.
Yeah, that's
at
right.
the end of the day,
he did turn it down. Yeah, whatever. But it was over some dumb tweets that were, not offensive in 2012, but are now offensive in 2019.
Yeah, and it was about like his son being gay or something.
Yeah, and he wouldn't
dumb.
he wouldn't apologize, and it's like, because
No,
I
the thing
already did.
Yeah, he
I
already did.
already apologized. I'm not gonna apologize twice.
Yeah, he
already said sorry. Not gonna say it twice.
Already. Yo, so this is another thing. This is
start
another
beatboxing over here.
already. No, so this is another great line. He goes, many talented people of color were snubbed in major categories. Unfortunately, there's nothing we can do about that. Hollywood foreign press are all very racist. So we were going to do an in memoriam this year, but when I saw the list of people who died, it wasn't diverse enough. No, it was mainly white people, and I thought, nah, not on my watch. Maybe next year. Let's see what happens. And that was like so fucked because it's a double thing where it's like kind of it's a commentary on like, oh, all the people in Hollywood are like old white people, but it's also a commentary on like all like black people are getting killed and stuff. Like it was like, oh shit, like it goes deeper.
Wasn't there one where he made a joke about Epstein, where he
said they're like, he's like, I know he was your friend, shut up.
he was like, all of Epstein's friends. He's like, just like Epstein didn't kill himself. Oh, I know he was all your friend.
Yeah, because they all booed, and he goes, oh, shut up, I know he was your friend, but yeah. This is another one. He goes, he said, once upon a time in Hollywood, nearly 3 hours long. Leonardo DiCaprio attended the premiere, and by the end, his date was too old for him.
He hasn't dated anyone over 25 ever.
Yeah, never. Yeah, it's crazy. He's like almost 50.
He's in his 50s, yeah.
Yeah, the best one, I kept saying best one. One of the best ones was, the world got to see James Corden as a fat pussy. He was also in the movie Cats.
God, I hate that guy.
Dude, James Corden sucks.
You gotta do some carpool karaoke?
Dude.
No.
The funny thing is I like the premise of carpool karaoke. Like, it's a fun premise, but James Corden just fucking sucks, dude. Like, he just sucks. God, fucking hate him. There's so many segments that would work as, like, that are good on late night shows. Like, the writers are good, like, a lot of times. But the problem is the fucking host sucks, you know? It's like the premise is like work, but I just don't want to watch it because it's fucking James Corden.
Oh, speaking of late night, this is totally kind of going back to like late night / YouTube stuff. When I was laid up in the hospital, I was like, one night I was up at like 2 or 3 in the morning. Like they came in to like draw my blood and like get my vitals, and like my pain was bad, and I was like waiting for the meds to kick in, and I was channel surfing, and I landed on Lily Sings late night show.
How bad was it?
Tragic. I was like, everything everyone's saying about this show is true. It was like came on at 2 a.m. on a Saturday. Who's awake at that time watching late night shows? Nobody. It's like, what a downgrade, Lily. Like, you dummy. Like, congratulations on being the first woman and the first woman of color to have your own late night show. But seriously, what a downgrade. You had a YouTube channel full of millions.
I think even Liza would have had a better shot at that. Because she's charismatic. She's funny. Like, I think she's funnier on the fly.
Yeah,
Lily Singh is fucking terrible. It'd be like if Lele Pons tried to have a late night show.
Oh, and honestly, something like that is going to happen.
I know that when they were coming up with the running, they were probably like, who should we have? We should have Lily Singh, Lele Pons, or Liza Koshy. And like they made arguably the worst choice. Like it's just so cringe.
I'm breaking my mic over here, and I'm just going to...
Need some help? Need some help, buddy?
No, I don't. I'm just going to pretend like I haven't been. I tried to make it tighter, and I made it looser, and I'm like, gonna not mess with it anymore.
I can help you. I can help you, sir.
Yeah, like maybe the gold piece. Yeah.
There we
Get
go.
that boy tight.
Now he tight.
Okay. Tight
now.
Tight like a tiger. Tight like a toiga.
Toy.
Yeah. But anyways, yeah, it's just it's just hilarious, all the hypocrisy. And it seems like the people that are making these types of informational exposés, like, the Philip DeFrancos, the Nerd Cities, they are the ones that should be elevated, and they should be viewed, they should be on trending. And,
well, there was a time when the commentary channels were the moral high ground. Like, I think about like H3. Like, there was a time when I relied on H3 to expose people. I relied on iDubbbz, to show, the world, or the YouTube world,
because a lot of it's very nuanced.
All the bad stuff and all the information. And, I relied on, Philip DeFranco to give me little bites, and, all these people. And then now it's like they don't even have a voice, and then they get buried, and then they get marked as, mature and X. And like Nerd City talked about that. I think it was on a podcast or something. They're like, yeah, our video we did about the YouTube demonetization, like, got a NC-17 rating. Like, they went in and manually like rated it. Like,
yeah, because it's not only the fact that it gets rated badly, but then it becomes demonetized. And the thing about demonetization is not just that you don't make money. YouTube also suppresses the fuck out of your content because
they're not making money.
They're not making money. So if you can't make money, they can't make money. So why would they show that to anyone?
Well, wasn't No Jumper saying that like he has to put at least one ad on the front of his videos, because if he doesn't, YouTube doesn't make any money, and therefore they won't show it to anybody.
Yeah. Like, he needs to get monetized. Yeah, and that's the weird thing about monetization, dude, because it seems like you can kind of swear and still get monetized, but like sometimes no.
It depends on, like, I think you can't say fuck like in the first 10 minutes. Or in
Which is just crazy.
Or in the first, it's like in the opening after the intro.
Unless you're Lele Pons, of course, because you can say fuck like 10 times in a kid's video about like a classroom.
There's like one video game, like a kid.
The Mario and Luigi
Mario and Luigi one, yeah. It's like they're getting drunk, they're having sex, there's
a guy trying to like suck a girl's nipple.
Yeah, sucking on boobs. They're like fighting, like all this crazy stuff, and it's like the premise of this video is that there's a kid sitting down to play his DS.
Like, yeah, literally. Like it starts off with a kid playing Mario on his computer, and then they act it out in real life, or on his Game Boy. I'm such a boomer. His fucking Nintendo DS. I couldn't even say. This kid's sitting down on the computer. Oh shit, not his computer, his Game Boy.
One time my grandma we were playing Xbox at the beach, and she's like, what's all this equipment?
How about every old person ever that calls any video game system a Nintendo?
Yeah.
Oh, you boys just playing your Nintendo over there. Mom, there's an Xbox. Oh, you guys are just playing your Nintendo. No, there's a PlayStation. Well, he's just on his phone playing Nintendo. And it's like, that, no.
Well, the funny thing to me now is that I see a lot of like older people being very addicted to their phones in the same way that kids, when they were first introduced to social media, were addicted to their phones.
Well, what I get a kick out of is when an old person watches 3 hours of TV, and then a young person pulls out their phone for 5 seconds, and they're like, fuck you, you motherfucker. You goddamn piece of shit. You're addicted to that thing, aren't you? You just can't put it down. You just can't. You always got to be on that phone, just always scrolling, just watching your videos on your apps with your friends. And it's like, you've been watching TV for 3 hours straight. Shut up.
Yeah, I can literally see this happening. Like, you're all as a family sitting down to watch TV or something, and someone pulls out their phone. It's like, really? We're having family time. Like, I can totally see that happening.
I'm notorious for that, because sometimes, like, Jalila and I'll be watching a movie, and it's like, I think it's a good movie, and then she'll, like, pull out her phone. I'll be like, BB, the screen's here. And I'll like point at the computer, and she's like, get off my ass. Like, she's always like, I'm just checking a thing, like, leave me alone. I'm like, but the screen is right here.
This big screen good, little screen bad, phone bad, phone bad.
Phone bad.
Yeah, it's like so fucking boomer humor. Internet bad, computer bad, haha. Young people bad.
Yeah. All right, so this is what I think. I think this last segment that we were trying to put in here is not going to really fit inside of this episode. So let's take some questions that we're going to make up right now, because we don't have time.
Oh, questions and
to
answers?
Look into questions.
Well, I know a question that I can ask you, Richard, from our audience. How do you deal with setbacks?
Oh, shut up, Andrew. Okay.
How do you deal with setbacks?
Well, seeing that I just went through a setback, that's great because I can definitely find a way to try to put that into words or whatever. But I think for me at least, it's a lot about patience. Like it's a lot about just taking things day by day and slowly getting back to where you were. You know, like there's no need to rush. There's no need to hurry. There's no need to get negative in your head because it's out of your control. Like you got to have a lot of like patience and acceptance and be like, okay, it is what it is. I need to do the things I need to do in order to, you know, get it right. You know, like as much as I didn't want to do all the things, it's like it's my only option. Like what else am I gonna do? What else am I gonna do except for lay around for a week and a half straight? Like what else am I gonna do except for, you know, figure out, you know, how to get my independence back, how to be able to, you know, make food on my own and, you know, be able to shower on my own, and then, you know, how am I gonna get to physical therapy? And, you know, you kind of have to prioritize, I guess. But
yeah,
I mean, I think about it back to like, I mean, in my recovery days, I've talked about this before, where I would just like stare at a clock.
Talking about drug
addiction recovery days. Yeah, when I was in
You've been in a lot of recovery days recently,
when
Richard.
I was in rehab, drug rehab, and I would just look at the clock and be like, okay, can I make it a second? Okay, cool, I made it a second. Like, okay, can I make it a minute? Made it. Can I make it 10 minutes? You know, an hour, a day, and that's kind of how I've been approaching a lot of this stuff right now. Is I'm just kind of like, okay, I have to deal with the problem that is at hand, which is I'm in a lot of pain. My leg is broken. You know, I've got a lot of pain everywhere else. You know, I've lost almost all my independence. People are taking care of me. And
you're back now, though, a decent bit. You still can't drive right now, but
yeah, I mean, and even when I do start driving again, like you know, I got physical therapy to do. You know,
there's a lot of shit going wrong.
You know, I've got, you know, to figure out how I'm going to be able to get back in the gym, how I'm going to be able to get back into the workflow, you know, how I'm going to be able to, you know, just do things. Like, I don't even know if I'm going to be able to walk again. Like, I literally have no idea. Like, I don't know if this knee, because there's now a bunch of metal in it, and if it'll be able to, like, hyperextend the way that it used to in order for me to transfer my weight over. Like, I just don't know. And I'm not going to think about worst case scenarios until it gets there. You know, I'll figure out a way. You know, it might be one of those things where it's like, okay, well, it does or it doesn't. All right, now I guess I'm in the chair more. Or, you know, okay, now I got to figure out a different way to get my chair in and out of the truck. You know, maybe I got to get a different car that's lower to the ground, that's got bigger doors, you know, so I'll be like loading my chair in and out more often. Or, you know, maybe I don't want to think about it, you know? Like, I just don't, I don't want to think about it until it gets there. You know, I think there's too many people
even if you can't fully hyperextend the knee, couldn't you double crutch it probably?
Probably, yeah. But that would be like, then I wouldn't have any hands available to do anything. So at that point, it's kind of like just be in the chair. Yeah, double crutching is worse than anything, I think. Because you don't have any hands available.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. Yeah, and you can't even like, it's weird. For sure.
I could probably double crutch it like Hannah, maybe.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, and not like the like walking style of double crutching.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Because
Yeah.
she like hops.
She hops basically.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of thinking. Was like her style, not like one and then the other. Like that feels weird to me.
I mean, either way, they're still both your hands are taken up.
Exactly.
You got to have a big bag or a backpack or something, or I don't know, man. I'm just not thinking about it too much. I've just been like not allowing myself to go negative. Like that's a big rule I have whenever I'm going through any type of depression stuff, or if I'm going through any type of like this kind of stuff or any type of big setback. I just like, if I can't go positive, just don't go negative. And if I catch myself going negative, I'll be like, no, just not right now. You know, I'll tell myself like, not right now. And then I'll kind of like go back to like.
Do you think that's sometimes suppressing yourself from feeling those feelings though?
Yes, if it's like
mourning a loss or something.
Yeah. Like this is just something that
this might not be a full loss. Like it's like you don't go negative in the sense of like analyzing all the worst case scenarios.
Yeah, exactly. And I even think about like
I get
when
what
I
you're
went through
saying.
my big depression in 2006 or whatever.
The Great Depression of 2006.
2016, sorry.
16.
Or maybe it was 17 or 18.
The Great Depression of 2016, or maybe it was 17 or 18.
I don't know. I've been through a lot of depressions. But so I think about, like, just do your basic stuff, eat food, shower, socialize,
I like doing those things.
exercise, but I remember I'd lay around a lot. I'd lay around and watch a lot of TV and YouTube and just do nothing. But, I think there's a difference between like hiding your feelings, and there's a difference between just like, if there's nothing to feel, then just don't go negative. If you can't go positive, don't go negative. And it's like, in the moment, I can't really, and I mean, I'm still having a hard time trying to think of anything positive that's come out of this. I mean, there have been a few things that have come out of it, but for the most part, I'm still like, ugh, I could have done without this. This would have been a lot better if I didn't have to deal with this.
I think personally, there's probably not very many like positives, but as far as like other things, I feel like there's definitely gonna be some positives. Like, even just from the Wheels to Walking standpoint, like people are very understanding. Like we got like that awesome book of messages, like, that type of stuff. I think honestly, the video that is hopefully out by the time you're listening to this, the vlog of the recovery vlog, I think that's like a different style that people are going to really dig. I thought about this a lot, actually. Like, I don't think we could have ever started with that kind of content. Because it's just a little bit like too boring. Like no one cares enough.
Unless it was something like this, yeah.
But it's got to be something like you have, like, there has to be enough like hero pieces to point back to be like someone that anyone cares about. Like, for example, Louis, like Fun for Louis. He has so many hero pieces that you can point to and be like, holy shit, he flew around the world in a plane. Holy shit. He, kayaked down this crazy river. Holy shit. He, lived in Africa for this many, like he went to North Korea. He's got so many good series and so many good videos.
Rode his bike from London to South Africa or something.
Yeah,
some
like,
crazy shit like
sailed
that.
across the, world in a boat. Like, he's done so many things. He's a legend.
Mm-hmm.
But at this point, I kind of get what he is. You know what I mean? And I don't really feel like if he comes out with a new video, I'm like, oh, that's cool that he did that. But I don't even like need to watch it necessarily. It's like, oh, he flew around the world. I know that he did that, but I haven't watched any of those videos. Like that's a crazy thing that he did, but I just like, I get it. It's kind of like, I was talking to you about it with Danny McBride, and he was talking about how like a good comedian has like 7 good movies typically. Mm-hmm. And it's not that they're a bad comedian after 7 movies. It's just that you get them. Like you're like, okay.
I know what a Will Ferrell is. I know what a Vince Vaughn is. Like I know what a Owen Wilson is. Like I got it. Like I know what they are.
Exactly. And I think that's kind of the case with certain creators and stuff. And I think it turns into a point where, like, for example, I've talked to you about this. I would totally listen to like a Louis podcast because like I know and respect and appreciate what Louis done so much. I don't need to necessarily keep watching, but I like to know what's going on in his head. I like to, know what he actually thinks on a daily basis. I want to hear conversations that he has with other people. That's why I would listen to a podcast with him. And I think that we're doing the right thing with Wheels to Walking, because even though we haven't been around that long, we've done enough things in the wheelchair world with you to where people realize that like, oh, he is a beacon of hope for people in wheelchairs, and he is a person that like helps people that like to accept their mobility aids and things like that, where you've done enough on that front, even within a year, that like, okay, I respect Richard so much on this end, now let's hear what he has to say about this. Let's hear what he has to say about this. Let's hear what he has to say about this. And I think that's where the podcast really comes in handy. But also, this is the first time with this vlog, like a look into your actual life, like, hanging out with your girlfriend, and
it's been pretty mysterious.
Even the behind the scenes of the studio a little bit, like showing like, just the little weird behind the scenes things that people don't normally get because our stuff is so like highly produced.
Yeah, I definitely like that from a viewer's perspective. Mm-hmm. Like I even like it when I'm watching like a regular, let's say just like a commentary guy, and then he'll do a skit where he's like running through his house. And I'm like, oh,
That's his
that's what
house.
his hallway looks like. Like, oh, I didn't know he lived in that kind of a neighborhood. Like,
Totally.
oh, neat. Like, that's what his wife looks like. You know, like I'm like, okay, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, exactly. And I think the same thing happens with our favorite creators, you know, like there's certain things like with H3H3, it's like with the video with iDubbbz where they're doing the like molten knife where they're like cutting the things with the hot knife. Like you get to see like their whole kitchen and their whole house and you're like, oh, so that room where they record is over there. Oh, okay. Like,
it's like they're in the basement, you know, and there's like a curtain. And like, I remember one time there was like this thing where they like flipped the desk around and it like showed it. And I was like, that's not what I thought it was going to be. That's like a laundry room back there.
Yeah, same with like PewDiePie when he like flipped his desk around and was recording into the mirror, like before he was like had the mirror up against his studio, and then yeah, like I think people enjoy like a shift sometimes, and I think that's the problem with people and content. Like they think like, okay, we've solved the formula, we do it like this. And then like 10 episodes later, it's like not performing as well. And they're like, but we cracked the formula. Why isn't it performing? It's like, because people are bored of the formula. They need you to mix it up and switch it up. And I think that's like kind of an interesting thing that we were stuck in a rut creatively and we didn't even really realize it. And this vlog thing might be like the start of like it goes crazy and people are like, oh my gosh, more of this, please. You know, like who knows?
Yeah, I don't know. For me,
it would be nice if we were able to post it, but fucking YouTube.
Yeah, I know for me, for now, I'm definitely feeling a bit discouraged just because I'm physically limited. You know, like a lot of my videos are done just by me being physical. You know,
but to be fair, like most of the like craziest physical ones like aren't even our most popular ones. Like some of them are, but some of them aren't.
No, I agree. I'm just saying I'm already kind of like, I mean, it's been 2 weeks, not that long, maybe 2.5 weeks, but either way, I'm still kind of like, ugh, come on, man. Can I just like get back to normal already? You know, like I want to go back to the gym. I want to finally, you know, hook the gym that'll allow me to do the adaptive lifting series, you know, like that's a huge one. You know, I definitely want to, you know, keep doing a lot of these like wheelchair basics videos. And, you know, I definitely want to keep traveling and, you know, do a lot of cool videos. You know, like I'm stoked to do a bowhead video, and I'm stoked to, you know, even go to Charlotte and, you know, meet up with Jesse and, you know, all that Charlotte crew and do a bunch of videos with them. And, you know, like there's just a bunch of stuff that I'm like really looking forward to, but I'm like, I feel so kind of like pinned up and confined that I don't even really want to like look at the Trello board and like see what's on there. And because I can look in there and be like, okay, well, I can do this kind of a talking head video with this person, or like I can do this kind of a talking head, you know, video with this idea, or I can, you know, talk about this concept. But I'm like, I don't know, man, that just seems kind of like fucking lame, you know. But maybe that's a good thing that I have to.
I think one of the biggest things that we should do is just breaking down what people are searching and just like double the fuck down on this, optimizing our whole channel for search right now. Because I feel like there's so much stuff that people are searching in regards to this stuff, and we've nailed down a lot of them. But there's still a lot of things where it's like, yeah, going up to Charlotte and like doing a video with like some guy that like does adaptive whatever would be cool. But at the end of the day, like, will it perform well in like 5 years? Like, who knows?
I don't know, man. It's I got time to strategize. That's I guess a benefit of this whole thing is I've got time to really like look at the analytics and, you know, really figure things out and strategize and, you know, just kind of figure it out. It's also an opportunity for us to look at some of our income streams and to look at some of our monetization paths and be like, okay, well, we've been talking about doing this one thing for a while, but we haven't really found the time to do it. And it's like, well, hey, we got the time now. So, you know, or even if it's like a TikTok strategy where it's like, all right, we've got time to, you know, we're not shooting and editing other videos. So it's like, we got time to blast out, you know, a TikTok a day or, you know, 2 TikToks a day or whatever we want, you know, just to kind of like bulk up that platform a little bit, because there's a lot of attention over there. Or if we want to, you know, do whatever. I mean, we've got all the stuff that quote unquote we didn't have time for, but we definitely did, but we were just busy doing other stuff. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I'm just trying not to, again, this is one of those, if I can't go positive, don't go negative things where I'm just like, yeah, whatever, we'll just see what happens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, it's hard to see the positives, but I think that there definitely already are some, like, for sure. But it's probably harder for you to see them because it's so wrapped up in like your physical
and I mean,
body.
it's the one that, I mean, it's happening to me. You know, so it's like I'm the one who's, you know, in pain and suffering. You know, I'm the one who's
it's
going through it, and it's like all the people on the sidelines are like, "This is good things are gonna happen, and it'll come from this." And it's like,
so cool to see you in pain.
like, I love to see your journey, and I'm like, I just wish I wasn't on one right now. Like,
yeah, but it kind of goes back to the whole spinal cord injury thing in general. Like it's like inspiration porn type shit, you know. But the thing is no one got to see your spinal cord injury journey like actually unfold on the internet or anything. So it's like maybe this is the closest thing we can get. You know, obviously it's not like we have to do that or, you know, fetishize any of that. Or
yeah, man, this is what we're going to do. Every 10 years on my anniversary, we go back and I fall into that hole again.
Fuck yeah.
And then we just do it all over again and we record.
Let's be real, you'd probably
all
die.
of it. Yes, no, I would definitely die. Or we can just go, you know, find a doctor, give my spinal cord a little snip a little bit higher, you know, give myself
a higher level every year.
Dude,
every year it's like you like it's 2011, so we're gonna hit that T11. Let's go, boys. Like fuck. How fucked is that? It's like, dude, it's like the transabled people, like every year they want to be more disabled. Dude, okay, here's an interesting...
Transabled people, man,
do you think... Okay, this might be too deep of a subject to cover in all of our time, but, you know, if you're here at the end, you're the most loyal, so cool.
Yeah, definitely. If you're still here, what's up?
Question. I saw this thing a while ago that was like... I showed it to you, and it was basically this idea that if you are identifying as a trans person, but you don't have body dysmorphia, meaning you don't feel like you're actually like born in the wrong body.
Dysphoria.
Dysphoria. Yes. Dysmorphia is when you like, body dysphoria, where you feel like you're born in the wrong body. Like you were born as a male, but you feel like you should have born a female. If you are trans and you don't have body dysphoria, if you don't have gender dysphoria, sorry, I was mixing up those terms, then you're basically just the equivalent of like an edgy kid in like the early 2000s, like an emo kid or something, like where it's like, oh, it's like cool to be edgy and trans right now. Do you think that equivalent is the like transabled stuff? Because like who, you know, like if you're also saying like, who are you to say like what I feel, whatever, who are you to say
I don't have enough I don't have enough information to know. It's like, I don't know if I can speak.
Do you think they can be compared?
Well, I don't know if I agree with that stance in the first place that you mentioned, where the whole like if like whether they have whether they have dysphoria or not, like I don't think that matters. Like,
well, here's the thing:
if they're a trans person, they're a trans person. Like,
exactly. Like you should accept them no matter what, and the only one that can actually police that is yourself. But is it kind of the similar thing where someone's like, "Well, who are you to tell me that I shouldn't like be able to?" like chop my arm off or like whatever, you know what I mean? Like, well, if I'm transabled,
I don't know. I mean, transabled people have an extreme case of dysphoria, and it's body dysphoria. And there's another name for it. I forget the name of it. I looked it up. But it's basically, it's like when you like feel like your limb doesn't belong to you, so you like have this urge to like want to cut off, you know, your leg or your arm, or you feel like you should have been born, you know, disabled, or you know, your dream is to be, you know, a paraplegic, or you want to, you know, just sit around in a wheelchair all day. And, you know, it's like, well, I just can't find a doctor to do the operation. And like, my argument is always like, go get hit by a car, like shoot yourself, like inject saline into your spine. Like there's plenty of ways that you can do this. Like if you want your arm to be gone, but you can't find a doctor to cut it off, table saws exist. Just slice that bitch off. Like if you truly, honestly, legitimately, actually feel like you need to be paralyzed, or if you need to have an amputation, do it.
Yeah, but that's also...
No one's stopping you.
Yeah, but that's
just
also
do it.
That's not exactly real, because they don't want to die. You could easily die doing it yourself, and you could probably pass out. Like, just because they want their arm to be gone doesn't necessarily mean they want to feel the pain, and doesn't necessarily mean they also might potentially want to die. Like, they want to do it under supervision of a doctor.
They want to pick and choose the whole process. Like, if you feel like you want to be an amputee, then you need to go through the whole process. Like, run over your hand with a monster truck, like crush it, like it's gonna hurt. Go to the doctor and be like, it's broken, cut it off. It's
I know.
like,
I'm just saying, like, it's like this. It would be also the same as like,
it's like,
well, if you want to be a girl so bad, why don't you cut off your own dick? Yeah, you can't find a doctor to cut off your dick. Just go there's scissors exist. Take your scissors and chop off your pain.
all right, fine.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, there's a parallel. Like, where do we fucking draw the line? It's weird.
I don't know, man. I don't know if I care enough because there's like 3 people in the world, that, or at least people that are public about it. I mean, I knew a guy who like hit me up who's like somehow made his way secretly into like the spinal cord injury support groups. Like he sits in a wheelchair and, pushes himself around, but he clearly does not have atrophied legs. Or if he does have atrophied legs, they're from just him sitting around in the wheelchair the whole time. And, he like messaged me. He's like, because he like knows I have a platform. And he's like, would you ever talk to or interview someone who, wishes in their deepest, darkest desires to want to be a paraplegic that they wish ever since they were born, someone who has, this type of, I forget what it's called. It's not body dysmorphia. There's another name for it. I forget the name of it.
Yeah.
And just like, I was like, dude, I don't have any interest in talking to you. Like, I don't want to talk to you. And if you desperately want to be a paraplegic, like there's ways you can make that happen. Like you can definitely do it to yourself.
Well, I think that's kind of like the argument that I'm trying to make with like this whole, like, do you actually have body dysphoria, or are you just like wanting to be edgy and like pretend so that you can get attention on the internet?
Dude, I don't know. I'm not a psychiatrist.
I know that's the interesting thing.
I'm not in their brain.
I know you're not.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I can't judge. I mean, I think if you're a person that's willing to permanently modify your body for the rest of your life through physical modifications and chemical modifications, there's got to be some reason you want to do it.
Yeah, but some people are also.
You can always undye your hair. You can always unpierce your ears. You can always stop wearing eyeliner and black lipstick and weird clothes, and you can go back, to being like the non-emo kid.
I guess that makes sense.
Like there's no going. No going back from this. Like, you can't go back from being on hormones for years and years and years. You can't go back from having surgeries that alter your body. Like you can't go back from it. So I tend to think, it's the same way with like wheelchair users. It's like, well, I mean, there's got to be a reason why. Like I'm sure there's plenty of reasons why maybe they shouldn't, but there's probably a lot of reasons why they should. And it's like, that's not my job.
Yeah.
That's not my job to like decide why people do what they do.
Yeah, and that wasn't really the nature of like what I was trying to get at, because you can only know that for yourself. But it's like, who are you to judge anyone? Yeah, I agree. Like, I'm not in your brain. I don't know. But it's like, yeah, I don't know. It's weird. Again, we can dive into this subject way more once we like do a little more research and stuff like that. But I just thought it was an interesting kind of parallel, because I've been thinking about that a lot. It's like, there's definitely this movement of people that want to just be like edgier and edgier and crazier. And maybe if there's like a level of permanent, like there's like a level of permanence to it, then it's like more.
But I get what you're
like
saying. Is like everyone wants to be unique. And now there are more and more extreme measures of how you can be unique.
Exactly.
You can be like the most trans, or like the most queer, or you can be, the most disabled, or you can be the most, insert the blank, or you can have the worst, insert the blank. And it's like, there's someone I know on Instagram who I kind of had to unfollow because I'm just like, dude, like you got a new diagnosis every month. And honestly, I feel like you're full of fucking shit. Like you talk as if you're a member of this group, but like I don't see that. Like I've seen you, I've watched you over the past 12 to 18 months, and every fucking month it's something new with you, and you always like have it almost is like a costume. It's like, oh, I got diagnosed with this, and then
new content.
He'll buy like all the new equipment to like make him.
Now I have
fit.
a tube in my nose and shit.
Yeah, it's like to fit the stereotype of what it is he just got diagnosed with. And it's like, are you diagnosed hunting? Like, what are you looking for? And like the person has had some procedures.
I was gonna say, but we also have to acknowledge, like, some people like that do exist where they're like they're chronically ill and they're constantly getting diagnosed with shit.
I agree. I'm not disagreeing with that.
Yeah.
But like, I also know a girl like in real life who makes up medical problems. Like she makes up the fact that she like broke a bone.
Wasn't that Munchausen? Munchausen's?
Not by proxy, by just actual Munchausen's.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Where she constantly will like, she'll tell everybody that she has like a cancerous brain tumor and then she's dying, and then like a month later she'll be like, oh, it was cured, and it's like, no, it wasn't. That's not how that works. Or she'll like, you know, like cut her, like she'll like break her wrist or like hurt her wrist and like be in a cast because she just wants attention. She just like wants nonstop attention about her medical problems, and then she'll like nothing she does keeps private, and she'll always just like announce it to everybody about like, oh, I got this new problem, and it's like, cool, thanks for telling us.
Yeah,
you know, it's like it's always this like announcement, and she always wants like this sympathy, and you know, like there's people that have like gone with her to like help her, like, you know, in like with like her doctor's appointments and stuff, and then will come out and talk to people and be like, dude, no one believes her, like not even the doctors believe her. And it's like that, but that's also like a problem within like medicine right now, is there's like a lot of physicians that like maybe like
they diagnose for the masses and not specific things. Or
yeah. But then this person will like jump from doctor to doctor to doctor to doctor to doctor to like to get this diagnosis that she wants. Like she wants to have like this particular diagnosis, and then will like go to like 10 or 15 doctors until she gets the diagnosis. And it's like, what comes first here, chicken or egg? Like, are you trying to like be on these meds and like have to go through all these procedures and then like live your life with this diagnosis? Or do you want to just like, it's like she's intentionally trying to find the hard route. Like, I don't know, man, it's complicated because it's like, I know this person already has mental health problems, so I like wouldn't be surprised if they were faking it.
That's another part of that whole conversation.
Yeah, like they might, but then again, like who am I to decide? Like who am I? I just don't care enough. It's like, not my circus, not my monkeys, not my problem. You know, like it's been getting to the point, dead ass. Like if I ever see her and she's like, oh hey Richard, like let me tell you about some of my new stuff that I had that's happened to me since we talked last. I'll literally just be like, oh, congratulations. I literally say congratulations, and she doesn't even flinch. She's like, thanks. It's been like a really hard time for like me to get this diagnosis. And I'm like, congratulations. I bet a lot of people really care about that. Like I literally have like gotten to the point where I'm like, I am done. Like I do not care. And like she comes up to me because she knows like I've got, you know, medical issues or whatever. And like it's even got to the point where like we had like another friend of a friend of a friend who like knows someone who's like one of like the most higher up like elite like physicians like in the world, and through it's just like a crazy people of like people who know people who know people who know people kind of thing. And like he looked at like her medical history and he's like, this is a lie. Like on paper he looked at it, he's like, this is a lie. He's like, no physician would ever give these medications without this particular reason, without this diagnosis, without this test. This person has never had those issues, and this is a lie. She's like, the physician was like looking at this paperwork. He's like, I don't even have to meet the person to know that they're lying. Like they are lying.
And that's why people get a bad rap, because people like that exist.
Yeah, I mean, we're over time, but you know, it's kind of like the whole. I mean, not to open up another can of worms, but it's kind of like the people that like are like.
That was me opening up the worms.
Yeah, it's like the same thing. It's like the people that like regret having sex with a guy and then call it rape. It's like, no, that's just called.
That was a big can of worms.
Yeah, it's like that's just that's called regret, not rape. And by you calling it rape, you are making all the people who did get raped,
actual rape victims,
like
you are bastardizing their entire experience.
You're belittling them because you like hooked up with a guy, and then the next morning you're like, oh, I didn't really like having sex with them, but I'll just tell everybody he raped me. And it's like, whoa,
or you're embarrassed that you did.
Yeah, or you're embarrassed that you hooked up with them, so you just lie about it. Ugh, I don't want to get into this bullshit right now. I just got into it, but I'm sorry, everyone.
Follow us on places.
Follow us on places.
See you guys.